Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Ask a Doctor, where we sit down with Dr. Rita Ellithorpe and we look for questions from you, the audience, to answer those live and in real time. You can post your questions in the chat section off to the right-hand side of the video. You do have to be logged into YouTube to post your questions there. You can also submit your questions anytime, 24/7. There's a link in the description, which is underneath the video. If you click that link, you'll be taken to our website where there's a form where you can put your information and your question in, and we answer those questions on Monday evening usually. That's a nice way to submit your questions because we don't lose those. We have the transcript, and we publish the transcript out to our blog every single week. In fact, you can go to our website right now, click on the blog, and you'll see many past transcripts, and just browse through those questions and answers and get educated on how we approach things here in an integrative functional office. Of course, we want to make sure that you understand that this is not meant to be a doctor visit. This does not replace your relationship with your doctor, nor is this intended to be medical advice. This is for educational purposes, because you're not sitting here in front of us. The doctor can't see you, touch you, and have your full history. But ask your question, any question, and we'll talk about it and discuss it in the context of how we might solve that issue or answer that question if there was a patient here in front of us. These Friday sessions that we're doing, we've added on for a short period of time. We're going to keep doing this for the foreseeable future. So we're meeting here on Fridays, me and Dr. Ellithorpe, at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time every Friday for the foreseeable future. And then Monday evenings is a longer format where Dr. Ellithorpe is by herself with the audience, and she's going through those questions that are submitted as well, if time permits, any of the live chat questions. Okay, so enough of the disclaimers and information up front. Dr. Ellithorpe, how are you doing today?
I'm blessed, thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us and sitting down on your admin day. I shouldn't say day off. And I do see that we're getting a couple questions there on the chat, so how about we dive in?
All right, sounds good.
Okay, Harlow says, hello, Dr. Rita, and good morning. What do you recommend for children with ADHD and autism? Juice Plus, chelation, which supplements? Do you have any articles? Do you suppose it could be childhood COVID jabs?
Well, that's a whole
can of worms.
And ADHD, attention deficit disorder, is a problem with focus. And that is usually, to be simple, let's start with what is most common. We're giving our children too much sugar, too much starchy, too much fruit sugar. The foods in the morning are quick, fast, cheap, processed cereals, donuts, juices, and their sugar rises so much that it's hard for these children to not want to expend that energy, and they become fidgety and unable to focus during their school and so forth.
And then they crash.
Yes, and then they crash. So I would say the number one thing is the sugar, starch, carbohydrate phenomena of our processed food, quick, fast, cheap scenario. We would rather see the child have bacon and eggs or beef or ham or chicken, just like dinner. They could have dinner for breakfast. Newsflash, if you make dinner and you make enough of it, really the easiest thing to do is to serve it warmed up for breakfast and package it for lunch. So you have a simple one meal preparation time for the busy family, and you eat that food for your dinner, you have it at breakfast, and then you pack it up and finish it off at lunch. And then you start again with another food. So you're accomplishing a quiet immune system for the gut, a lower carb. The day is starting out with a richer protein, fat for sustained energy for the children, and a far higher density of nutrition. Plus you get the colorings out, you get the processed food, many of these contaminants that are in there that we don't even know their implication, the dyes and whatnot. So that's the number one thing. And the next thing is there isn't enough vitamin D. So children who are fighting allergies or colds or stuff like that, that'll run them down. So I would recommend supplementing all the children with vitamin D. One of the things that helps preserve the brain and a healthy repair, remember all that brain for memory and focus is dependent on a myelin sheath that is fat wrapped. That myelin is a sphingomyelin, a very special fat that you'll get if you eat the egg yolks, you eat the beef, you eat the chicken, you eat the skin with the chicken, and you eat the fish and stuff. So you'll get the components for the myelin sheath for the brain and system to help with focus, with the endurance, and this will help their memory and focus. But then you want to protect it from free radical damage. And so I think there's so much research on the Juice Plus series. They have, I would say, over 3 million, at least 3 million children that they have tracked over the past 20 years, where they fill out the parent fills out every 6 months, how often do they go to the doctor, how often are they taking prescription medicines, how often are they missing school from being sick, how well is their performance and their diet and their water and healthy lifestyle and playfulness and academic performance. And then they go on the Juice Plus and they fill that out 6 months later. And we see less doctor visits, less missed school, better academic focused performance. We see better athletic performance and less illness and so forth. So if you're saying where is one nutraceutical that has treated all kinds of income groups, we're not talking just about wealthy American children. This is all over the earth now, many, many countries, maybe 25 countries, many different ethnicities and socioeconomic environments, and we see the same results. So I would give at least vitamin D for ADHD, Juice Plus to the children. I would have them eat a one menu day, which is have dinner for breakfast also, and then watch that sugar, starch, and stuff that you bring in, and see how they do there.
At what point do you consider chelation for an adolescent?
If you're doing all things like this and they're still having problems and focus and you're doing good surveillance as a parent and so forth, then I would bring them to a doctor who's functional, integrative medicine, and ask them to do some further testing, food allergies, maybe look for molds in the environment, also look for their fasting insulin, their hemoglobin A1C, their triglyceride levels, and inflammatory markers, and then look at heavy metals, which are, aggravating the situation as well. We could have helped those kids in Flint, Michigan, if they would learn about, in general education, about the EDTA chelation.
Right. Okay. And all this would apply more so with a child that was diagnosed with some form of autism. You'd recommend that they see an integrative functional medicine doctor for a full workup.
Yeah, and then we would immediately begin all these things, right, all in conjunction, including stool analysis to look at how inflamed their stool is, because very often there's a storm inside of inflammation. Okay. And that could be triggered by, we would also include in possibilities vaccinations. We're not going to say it necessarily is a vaccination, but we have to think about the aluminum, we have to think about mercury, thimerosal, and other heavy metals. So we put the whole package together and we work with them that way.
Okay. Harlow goes on to ask, what kind of eye drop do you recommend for dry eyes? MSM, Argentin? There's a doctor online that recommends DMSO drops for floaters and dryness.
DMSO is a well understood to be, it penetrates, it enhances deliverability through the skin. I have never seen it used on the eye, never. And I'm not going to try it because I work so well with all these lifestyle things I just told you about and using Argentin liberally. Okay, before I came to work today, I put my Argentin in my eyes to help moisturize them, and I did it last night. And natural hormones. Natural hormones for men would be testosterone and estradiol for women to help retain the fluid. Of course, you got to drink enough water every day. And then circulation, microcirculation with EDTA chelation therapy. So you can use as much Argentin as you would like, and it does the added value of fighting viruses, bacteria, and fungi. So that would be my choice, not Diamazole.
Okay, got it. Amela says, how long does it normally take for vitamin D levels to go up in kids? I'm giving my kids 5,000 IUs of D3 with K2, and their levels haven't improved much in 3 months. The last lab work still shows around 35.
Usually, vitamin D, being a fat-soluble vitamin, will go to their fat stores. And so very often, you'll have to go to 10,000 on these kids, even for a month, and then retest it to see if you've finally gotten into a therapeutic range. We want them to be at least 50,000 micrograms per deciliter. Then once you get there, then you can cut back to your 5,000 again and see if it maintains it.
Okay. Good question. Blake says, hi, Dr. Ellithorpe.
Hey, Blake.
Narita says, does TLC supplement store carry liposomal glutathione?
No.
Right, we do have a glutathione through orthomolecular, but I don't believe it's liposomal. It's S-glutathione.
Right, right. And I like liposomal of everything.
Yeah.
And the reason why you're seeing liposomal is because of all the work I've been involved in for almost 40 years.
Lipid replacement therapy.
Lipid replacement therapy, and I'm the one published on it. And I'm telling you, if you would just eat your meat, your fish, your chicken with the skin on it, your pork, your eggs with the yolk. I have in my little refrigerator and at home pickled herring and stuff. If I get the heebie-jeebies to eat something, I'm going to reach for a can of sardines, some pickled herrings, some pre-made up hamburgers or meatloaf.
Right.
I am going to be eating all these lipids. And very often I'm doing it so much that when I take my vitamins, which I have my vitamins here for today, I have so much healthy fats in me, I am able to have a fat carrier mechanism for them. Now, that's not to say the best thing probably for all nutraceuticals is to put them in a fat wrapping.
If we could, everything would be combined with some type of lipid replacement therapy, some phospholipids.
Mm-hmm. That would be ideal.
But we do have, you can always add to your, of course, eat food that is high in healthy fats, because it's a good delivery system, wrapping anything in those lipids. But you can supplement with a phospholipid.
Yes.
We carry it here. It's from Orthomolecular Products. It's brand name PC Pro.
Yeah.
Phosphatidylcholine.
Yeah.
It's also called.
Let them see it like that.
Right. Now, if you get it from us, it's labeled just phospholipids, just for simplicity. It's the same.
Right. We've written the big word phospholipids over it. So you could take that with your water, take a scoop of that, which is probably what I'm going to be doing. Again, we are the ones, this clinic is the one that got allergy research to do the NT factor, which was the original one. We got them to do this. Praise the Lord. But fat had been so frightening to everyone, and we were getting too many people sick and not staying healthy and younger longer. So I would take a scoop of that with my supplements, and that would be the routine I think that we should ask all our doctors to do and all our patients to do.
Or eat a bar of the doctor's bar, which is just packed chock full of phospholipids.
Yeah, that doctor's great bar, doctor's nutrition bar. We're made of fat. We're made of fat and protein. We're not made of plants. We do consume plants for micronutrients and minerals in them and energy, but we can get all of that in the animal kingdom.
And if, like as you said, if we could, we would combine every single supplement with make a liposomal version of it. But that's going to take up a lot of mass, a lot of space, and cost.
The cost is going to be crazy.
So the best thing to do is eat a diet that is rich in the healthy types of fats, and supplement on the side with something like phospholipids.
Yes, yes. Every time you take your supplement.
Right. And I just don't trust anything. We have a new baby at the house, and we're looking at probiotics for kids. It's a very niche type of thing. And there's all these companies out there putting things at GNC stores, and I just don't trust what's on the label because of our experience over the years testing and seeing outcomes. So I go to what I trust, which is orthomolecular, the adult probiotics, and then I just throw that in with the kids stuff. So if it's not a liposomal version of that, that's okay because I'm supplementing with the phospholipids.
Yes, yes. And you'll have a smarter baby.
Oh, yeah.
His brain connections will be better.
One of them is too smart right now. It's a little scary sometimes.
Okay.
Christina says, hello, doctor. My dad has been a heavy drinker half his life. He's 64. His stomach is huge and his feet have swollen. The doctor gave him water pills. Blood work okay, urine not. What can he do naturally to get better? Also, he fell off a roof a year ago and said he hasn't felt the same. He seems depressed as well. And then she asked where can she buy the supplements. So let's start with a 64-year-old heavy drinker with a huge stomach and is swollen that they're giving these water pills to. What say you?
Well, he has, she tells us that the lab was normal, which is telling me the liver enzymes are normal, which puts me at ease that there's probably not alcoholic liver disease, cirrhosis. Thank the Lord. I would go then with alpha lipoic acid. Alpha lipoic acid is probably the best for helping heal the liver, ALA. We also suspect that he hasn't been eating well, and I would use something to help him burn his sugar down, and that would be TLC metabolic formula. And that has alpha lipoic acid in it as well, but as much as you can get in him. And systemic enzymes like Vascuzyme on an empty stomach morning and evening. And I would have someone like that go on a time-restricted eating program, just eat between noon and 6 p.m. And it would be an extremely low-carb diet. You could go carnivore if you wanted to. And with that and TLC multiminerals, that will help with muscle relaxation and the smooth muscles on the vein. And if you could get a little rebounder, you know, a trampoline with a bar on it, and just have him bounce 5 minutes morning and evening, that will do a lymphatic massage and help move all this fluid out. Okay, so the knee jerk is to just give a drug diuretic, which he is calling a water pill. But the treatment is diet, exercise, and we're starting very simple, a little fun trampoline, okay, right in the room there, just 3 to 5 minutes morning and evening, and just bouncing on it gently, and then taking the TLC multimin, the TLC metabolic formula, and alpha lipoic acid. And I also would give him Juice Plus. Really, he's had a lot of damage. He needs a lot of oxidative protection, and put him on a more low-carb carnivore-like diet between noon and 6 p.m. And he should pull out of this. I would give him vitamin D, but if he has hurt his liver and digestion, you have to check those levels because you could become toxic with high-dose D. So I would start with like 5,000 international units with K2 and get a repeat lab in a month and just check it out.
You did mention the elephant in the room, which is, you know, is he still drinking or not? Obviously, that's a very challenging thing to overcome. If he stopped drinking, if he's considering it, it's hard to talk to somebody about that that's close. But you want to eliminate or at least decrease it significantly, that toxin that is aggravating the underlying issue.
You know, Dr. Habermill, who is one of our new doctors here, is an addiction specialist. And if they could come and see someone like her, that would be helpful also.
Right. You didn't say anything about the water pills.
Well, the hydrochlorothiazide is it's a cheap, quick mechanism to strain the kidneys to pee this out, but it's going to reaccumulate. See, if you don't do these healthful things, then it's going to bioaccumulate, and now you've got a drug being sold all the time. Once we see this all go away, then we can back off on the alpha lipoic acid, we can back off on the TLC metabolic formula, and we can just stick with maybe minerals and Juice Plus and D.
And what we see, especially in men who are heavy drinkers is a switch in their body's hormones where they become more estrogen
Oh
dominant.
my goodness, yes, that's
And
right.
that can, she mentioned her dad just hasn't been the same after a fall. Well, if he's not producing enough testosterone and has more estrogen in his body from
Very
the
good
alcohol,
point.
then that is something that the doctor should look at as well.
Yes, and I would definitely do that. If I saw him, I'd be checking his testosterone and estradiol level.
Right. So get him into a good functional integrated doctor, look at those hormones, encourage him to cut back or eliminate the drinking, and all these other things that you mentioned as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Garden Fairy says, I'm an 87-year-old, my 87-year-old mom has had IBS symptoms, constipation for years. You mentioned 3 supplements on another episode for IBS with constipation. Would you recommend the same?
Yes, it would be that BioPC Pro powder with the SBI Protect powder with the probiotic 225 powder. And I would do that for at least 2 weeks faithfully, and then taper down from twice a day to once a day, and then as needed. And then when you finish up the powdered probiotic 225, then go to the capsule form of it called Ortho Spore IG, designed for irritable bowel.
Right.
And then I would put her on a carnivore diet. I would give her Ortho Digestzyme to help her digest it, and
drink plenty of water.
Right.
In the diet, especially for an 87-year-old woman, if she's having irritable bowel, if she's eating a typical American diet with all kinds of ingredients, all kinds of food that's processed, who knows what in there could be contributing to the irritation. So moving to a simple rotational diet is going to be a big help as well.
Remember, plants have lectins. Lectins are a structure on the outside of the plant or vegetable or fruit that repels insects, repels fungus, bacteria, things like that, and molds. And it will kill these insects and bacteria and stuff. Now, we're too big, it won't kill us, but it'll create inflammation in us. That's what we call irritable bowel,
right.
Leaky gut. That's why eating a more carnivore-like diet, if you have to have vegetables, have them cooked and be the low-carb vegetables. If you have to have them, the most healing diet is a carnivore diet because it gives everything the lining of your gut needs, all your cells in your body. But if you have to have a vegetable, then cook spinach, cook Brussels sprouts, cooked asparagus, cooked green beans, cooked broccoli, butter them up, salt them, and then that would be what I would do in a healing phase for any problem.
Right. And I think I missed something here about Rita had asked about someone had asked where can you get these supplements. Well, to get a lot of the supplements that we're talking about, you do have to be a patient here because they're prescribed through providers. You can't just buy these things on Amazon or where else. But I do have an announcement coming out very, very soon that we are creating a sister website that anyone who is not a patient can go on there and get specific supplements that we've worked to create on our own or with the manufacturer, such as Ortho Molecular, in a way that we can package it, same exact product, to the public. So the best way to keep up on that information is to go to our website, which is tlcdoctors.com. Scroll to the bottom and look for the newsletter sign up. Make sure that you're on our mailing list because we'll be announcing that very soon. That website will be called provenmd.com.
Proven?
Proven, PROVENMD.com. So that'll be coming out soon. I'm very excited about that. And also want to say, if you're watching right now, and especially if you're a regular watcher, hopefully you're finding value out of this forum where we sit down and answer questions. Take a brief moment, even right now, and click that thumbs up like button. That helps us get this message out to more people. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel as well. Did I miss something? Is it best to? Yeah, I did. Is it best to take orthomolecular glutathione after a high-fat meal? I'm currently on a moderate protein, high-fat keto carnivore diet and do intermittent fasting.
Glutathione is water soluble, and so it's probably best to take on an empty stomach. That's what I do with mine. I take glutathione. I take that and N-acetylcysteine.
I take everything that I can tolerate on an empty stomach, because there's certain vitamins that do better or need even to be taken on an empty stomach, such as systemic enzymes. The only one that I always take with food is going to be my digestive enzyme. And if you're eating a diet, again, high in fats and those lipids, then that will help the absorbability of those, regardless if it's empty or full stomach. Harlow says, congrats on the birth of baby Cruz. God's blessing on him. Thank you, Harlow. Yeah, he was 2 weeks old on Tuesday, and he's doing great. And we've got a 2.5-year-old that's just smart as a whip and running around the house creating terror, but also bringing a lot of joy. And then we have an awesome little 11-year-old and a 13-year-old young man.
Are you going to make a whole baseball team?
We're getting close. Yeah. Well, at least a basketball team is 5. So,
okay.
Yeah, we're pretty close.
Okay.
Mama says we're done after Cruz, but we'll see. She says the same thing after August.
Well, we can maybe adopt.
We can adopt.
All right, you could adopt.
Yeah.
I like lots of grandchildren.
Yes. Amela asks, are you planning to make a new patient portal again? The old one does not work. I think you're probably talking about the patient portal where patients can log in securely and then message the office and get documents securely through us and access certain parts of their chart 24/7. So the short answer to that, if that's what you're talking about, Amala, is yes. We're working on something. The medical record system that we're using right now has gone through many different iterations, and they've been bought out by larger companies. So we're actually looking to shift to a more functional medicine designed EMR in the near future. I don't think anything is around the corner anytime soon, but in the next 6 to 12 months, yes. In the meantime, you're right, the old patient portal is not working anymore. We can still serve you in every way that portal was. It just has to be a little bit more of a manual process and you requesting something and us sending it to you. If you're asking about something else outside of the patient portal, I'm misunderstanding, let me know. Just post that question on the link underneath the description of the video and we'll get that answer for you. Okay, that I believe is all the questions. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Yeah, I think we got them all. And that's about our half hour for today. Is there anything you want to close us with or any thoughts on your mind?
No, I just pray that our patient population is probably one of the healthiest because our patients are assuming personal responsibility and control, self-control. And that has to be a part of everyone that is an adult. And we adults have to then teach this to the children over time about this self-discipline, and life is joys but work. And part of work is when to say no, and when you know you have to drink your water, and when you know you have to get yourself in that bed, and when you know you have to get yourself out to exercise, and when you know you have to take a supplement or something like that and eat better. So I just strongly encourage my patients, and I'm so proud of them. I'm training Dr. Johnston right now, our brand new male doctor who will be starting soon. And he sits here in marvel. He sees patient after patient, and he goes, I've never seen such healthy patients at their ages. Because he's just come from the East Coast and recently out of his medical training, and he goes, this is phenomenal.
Great. Well, good job, guys. You're doing it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time today. I'm glad we got to answer all of the questions in the chat. If anything pops up anytime and you have a question on your mind, just use that link under these videos in the description. You can post your question there, and we save those, and then we go through those on Monday, which is when we'll be back live on YouTube, Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Mm-hmm. We'll be back here. Dr. Ellithorpe will, and she's here for about an hour on Mondays answering those questions. So we look forward to seeing you then. And we will be back next Friday as well at 9:30 p.m. Thanks for your time, everybody. And until we chat with you again, be blessed. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great weekend.